Hi, my name is Breann Cornell, and my senior project is called Feeding the Felines. So, a little bit about me. My mom is Brenda, and my stepdad is Shannon Braca. My stepmom's Katie, and my dad is Eric Cornell. I have one sister, Haley Cornell, and I have four step siblings: Anna Sutter, Tyler, Joshua, and Shelby Braca. I have one niece, Cora Harvey, and there's a picture of her and I in the top corner. My future plans, I will be attending Southeast Technical College for invasive cardiovascular technology. Some activities I'm involved in, I've done wrestling cheerleading since seventh grade, and then I did football cheerleading for about 4 years. Um, I'm a part of the National Honor Society, FFA, FCCLA, drill team, choir, chamber choir, and one act play. So an overview of my project, I volunteered at the Humane Society in Yankton. I had a total of 63 hours, 37 of them were volunteering, and 26 of the hours were of me driving. And I drove a total of 1,349 miles. So my mentor was Katie Schlimgen. She's the volunteer coordinator at the Heartland Humane Society in Yankton. She just recently moved from Texas to South Dakota, and she helped me a lot with my schedule. She was always there for me to ask questions, and she went on maternity leave in the middle of my volunteer, but she would always let me text her and she would answer me as soon as possible. And then she's actually the one who trained me as well. And then there's a picture of her husband and her baby and her. My advisor is Ms. Harms. She is the high school math teacher. She's also the advisor of Math Club, Quiz Bowl, and FCA. She is very helpful throughout the whole entire process. She was always there for me to ask questions. She helped me write certain emails. And yeah, she was the one that also did my essay as well. So she looked over my essay to make sure it was all right. This is her 28th year of teaching and her 7th year here at Parker. So my research paper was called "Dogs Make the World a Better Place." My thesis statement was human-animal interaction is beneficial to humans because they live a better life with dogs as companions. My three main points were mental health and how animals can affect your mental health in a positive way. Service dogs, I talked about the different types of service dogs and what service dogs really do. And then the last one was emotional support animals. So I talked about not only dogs, but cats and other animals that people use as emotional support. So my project process, the first step that I had to do was research the Humane Societies. There's actually one in Sioux Falls, but I decided to do the one in Yankton because it was a little smaller and I figured that I'd get a little more hands-on and actually learn more not only about the animals, but also about how the Humane Society works in general. My second step was I contacted the Humane Society. So I just went online and they had a little section where you could put your contact information, and they contacted me after that. The third step was setting up times and days. So after I contacted them and they reached out to me, then we decided that I would come in on Fridays at 4 p.m. because we don't have school Fridays, and it just worked out good up until I had wrestling, and then that got really difficult because I usually work at my actual work at the nursing home on Fridays. So it ended up I had a lot of conflicts, but in the beginning it worked out very well. My fourth step was to get trained. So I went there one day, and Katie just trained me. She told me the overview and like what I really needed to do. It was super easy. It only took about 10 minutes, and then I was good to go. So what did I do when I was there? My main thing that I did was I fed the cats. I had a little catty cart you can see in the top picture, and I would read the cat's card and I would give them as much as food and what type of food that it says on there. I also cleaned the cages. Like the kittens would get the cages really dirty, so I would just wipe it out, make sure it looked nice. I checked everything. I made sure the cats were acting right. I was made sure that they're eating, that they're going to the bathroom. And then after I was done with that, I washed the old bowls. So every time we gave them food, we gave them a new bowl. So then I'd wash the old bowls that were already in their cage. You can see in the bottom picture, kind of by my head, the bowls I had washed. And then after that, I would sweep. I'd make sure that the inside looked really nice, like where all the cages are and stuff, because families come in, they look at the cats, and you don't want it to look all messy. And then after that, I would play with the kittens because I always had extra time, so I'd sit there and play with the cats and the kittens. Some problems that I encountered was scheduling. That was probably my biggest problem. The scheduling worked really well in the very beginning, but then, like I said, once wrestling season came, I had problems with having to work. I'd work like 6:30 to 2, and then I'd have to be at Yankton by 4, so that would make my days really long. I also had different college visits and stuff because Friday's kind of the day to do those things when you don't have school. So I had a lot of conflicts, but they worked really well with me, and they allowed me to come a little bit ahead of schedule or a little bit after the time I had to be there just to make sure I had enough time for everything. Another problem was I originally wanted to go to the hospital and do an internship there, but because of COVID, I couldn't do that. So then I decided to work with the animals because I work with humans every day in my own jobs. This kind of gave me a little different feel. Um, the last problem was dogs versus cats. I wanted to help the dogs and feed the dogs and walk the dogs, but there weren't enough dogs. There was only like two when I was there, and they already had someone that came in on Fridays. So then I just worked with the cats the whole entire time that I was there, which wasn't a big deal. I love cats, so it was fine. And then also another problem that I had was that my mentor went on maternity leave. So that made it kind of hard once we were winding down and getting towards like the beginning of April, ending of March when we were getting our portfolios together. I realized that one of my papers didn't have her signature on it. So what I did was I texted her, made sure it was okay, and then she's like, "Yeah, you can put my name down on there." And then I would just screenshot the text, and then I put it in my portfolio as her signature. But yeah, we ended up getting that all worked out. She was super helpful, and yeah, it worked out at the end. So my learning stretches again is scheduling. I learned how to not overschedule myself, but also how to make a good schedule. Like coming in every Friday was a good schedule, but I overbooked myself. I also learned that working with animals made me a lot less stressed out. I was always excited to come and see the cats, whereas when I'm going to my own work, I kind of get anxious and don't really want to go sometimes. The adoption process. So I learned not only how like the Humane Society works, I also learned like the adoption, like how the adoption process works. Um, the families like come in, they can see the animals. I was there a lot of the times when people would come because I'd come at 4, so everyone was off of work. So they come and they look at the animals, and then they can take them home and actually foster them at home for a few days to see how they are working like with the other kids maybe or with other animals. And then after that, they can actually adopt the animal. And cats, it's about $25 for adoption fees. Dogs, I think, it's about 60 something. Um, I also learned about what the Humane Society needs to actually run. You'd think that like the donations that they need would be like dog food, cat food, and litter, but really the donations that they actually need are things like hand soap, dish soap, paper towels, laundry detergent, the type of things that they need every day to actually run. Whereas they always get donations for dog food, they get so much of it, but the things that they actually need are the little things no one actually really thinks about. Here's another picture on the top is of my like little cart thing that I pushed around. It had everything I needed on it. And then the bottom picture is they use this to clean the dogs off and stuff, but you can also we have like a little bleach bucket there, and we used it to clean off anything that like the litter boxes or anything that got really nasty. So my thank yous, my first one goes to Katie Schlemgen because she was so helpful throughout my project. She was always there for me to ask questions to, even when she did go on maternity leave. I'd shoot her a text and she would answer as soon as she could, which was super super helpful to me. The next one went to Heartland Humane Society because they were the ones who allowed me to go in there and volunteer, especially during like COVID. It was a difficult time, but they always worked with me. My parents, because my parents were the ones who let me drive an hour and a half away to go volunteer, and they were super helpful. To Miss Barnhart because she pushed me to make sure I got everything done on time and also helped me get everything done. She was always there for my random questions. To Miss Harms, she helped me with my essay, she helped me write emails. Literally any question I had, I'd bug her during my class, and she never got tired of me that I know of. And then my last one to Miss Vogel because she was super helpful, not only with my project, but also like with getting ready for college in general. She's always been there for me to run down here and ask a couple questions. And yes, that is it. Thank you.